How's it going, YouTube? This is Skul, and welcome to today's video. I really hope that the lighting looks good, and I really hope that my microphone sounds good. I just finished moving into this apartment, and everything did not go as smoothly as I had hoped for getting my video recording setup set up, but that's fine because we're here now, and I figured that I wanted to do something a little different today. I am going to be showing off my iOS device collection. So, yeah, it should probably come as no surprise to a lot of you that I'm a fan of Dinkpods, the Australian YouTuber. Started out doing iPod videos, now he does a little bit of everything electronics related. He calls them nuggets. It's awesome. So yeah, definitely check him out. But anyway, so I have actually been collecting iPods for a very long time myself. In fact, my very first iPod was one identical to this. This is a third generation Ipod Nano. I've always loved the look of this. This color was the one that I had way back when. This is not the exact one that I had, unfortunately. I lost that one a long time ago, or maybe I sold it, I don't remember. But yeah, I've just always loved this. It's the perfect size screen. It has the wheel, and you can fit so many songs on this. This was only 8 gigabytes, as you can see there, but I've just always loved this. This can't hold a charge to save its life, unfortunately, otherwise I would show you more of what it looks like. But anyway, so an iPod identical to this one in size, shape, and color was my very first iPod. But my wife was actually big on Apple long before I was. In fact, this was her iPod Nano. I believe this is the 4th gen iPod Nano. This is the one where you can put it sideways and it has the correct aspect ratio. Unfortunately, this doesn't hold a charge either, but this was her actual iPod Nano. This isn't one identical to one that was hers. This is her actual one, and she loved it a lot. When she upgraded to a better iPod, she gave this one to me, and it's mine now. She's been doing that with a lot of her stuff. In fact, you'll see quite a few things that were hers that are now mine, just because she's upgraded to the latest and greatest Apple product. I'm not an Apple fanboy, but I gotta give props to them. They make some really, really good hardware. So that's sort of my personal history of how I got into iPod collecting. My very first one, I believe I got in like 2009 or maybe Christmas '08, come to think of it. And then I got hand-me-downs. And let me go ahead and actually show you. Let me go ahead and actually dang it. Okay, I'm just going to leave that in unedited. Look, I don't even know if you got to see it in time. I've been charging this Ipod Classic for over an hour now, hoping that it would be charged enough for me to at least show you a little bit of what the insides look like. And of course, now's the time when my cat decides to eat. Hi, Alex. How are you doing? I sincerely doubt you can hear him eating those pebbles on camera, but man, I can, and man, that's distracting. He's been napping all day. It is now 2:30 in the afternoon, and now's when he decides, oh yeah, right when Skul's recording a video, sure, why not? But yeah, unfortunately, this doesn't seem to be holding a charge very well at all. I mean, to be fair, I am only plugging it in through the 8-pin connector into USB into the wall, not a computer or anything. If you really want to get these things powered up, you need a FireWire connector, which I do not have. So anyway, that I cannot show off. It's so sad because, man, there's a whole lot of stuff on these things that I wanted to show off. It's the whole reason I want to make the video. When you buy these things secondhand, oftentimes the people didn't wipe them. You would be surprised at how many songs I've gotten on all these devices that... And now it's just frozen. Oh, there we go. You would be surprised at how many songs and stuff people leave on these devices when they sell them. They're like, oh, this is an iPod I had a decade ago. There's surely nothing important on it. Oh, don't you worry. We will be getting to that. Anyway, this is a 4th gen Ipod Classic. This was called the iPod Photo because this was like the first time that the iPod had like a color display. This is the 60 gig model. This is the only Classic I have, but I'm super happy to have it. This thing is nice and thick. Whenever I think of iPod, I think of the iPod Classic. It breaks my heart that Apple doesn't make these anymore, although completely understandable. The iPhone basically destroyed the iPod. There's no reason to pick one up. Oh, it's working, it's working. Okay, the next one I wanted to show off is my 1st gen iPod Mini, and it's working. Let's go, let's go. It has a backlight. Yes, yes, yes. This is usually the one that I have the hardest time charging up, and now it's the only one that's working. I wonder if that means anything. Anyway, this is a first gen iPod mini. I think it has 16 gigs of memory, something like that. This was the first iPod that they made that was not the iPod Classic. That was not called iPod. This was the mini, and then they replaced this with the Nano. Where is the, capacity of 3.7 gigs. Okay, so this is a 4 gigabyte model. There's 240 songs on here. That's what I'm talking about. Let me turn on the backlight so we can see a little better. There we go. Whoever I bought this off eBay, they have a freaking ton of songs, and I've gone through this. I didn't own a single one of these before before I got it. Am I ever going to listen to most of these? Probably not. I mean, have I ever heard of City Love? No. Clumsy? No. Conjugal Visit? No. But, all these songs are on here. I am never wiping this iPod. Like, this is a time capsule to whoever owned it before I did. And, yeah, and this is one of the reasons I like it, collecting iPods and stuff like that, is just to see the stuff that people put on their stuff before they sold it off. Of course, iPod collecting has gotten rather expensive lately. Even the cheapest iPods are not as cheap as they once were. But you know what? It's perfectly fine. I know DankPods is responsible for that, but that's okay. I enjoyed collecting them, and that's what matters most. So, I've showed off all of my classics, my minis, and my nanos. Now to go to the iPods that really are far out there. Starting with my first gen iPod Shuffle. This thing only has 512 megabytes of storage on it. And it looks awesome. I don't know, I've always loved this aesthetic. You know why? Because it's just a USB drive. That's all it is. I know plenty of, when I was in high school, plenty of kids had this solely to do their homework on. Like, that's not just a meme that DankPods said. Like, that's actually what people use this for, especially kids my age at that time. So, yeah, this is completely dead. I cannot get it to charge. I cannot get it to connect to the computer. Kind of to be expected. I don't even know how you open this up to service it properly. But hey, a first-gen iPod Shuffle that looks like this. It looks like a tool that you would pull out of a tool chest from a backyard tool shed. But yeah, I'm happy to have that. And then these two are the exact same Shuffle, but in two different colors. And I think this is the 4th gen iPod Shuffle. And this one was my wife's. She got this as a workout buddy for when she was going to the gym and walking around the block and stuff. And this does nothing more than put songs on there and shuffles them. That's why it's called an iPod Shuffle. But this is so small, like and it has this little clip too. If I could just, yeah, there we go. See? It just clips onto your belt or onto your shirt or something like that. And yeah, it's really, really convenient that way. And I have a black one as well, and I got this one specifically, and this one was, like, the most expensive of the lot. I don't know why. Like, of all the colors available for this iPod, like, this was the most expensive. I have no idea why. Anyway, I got this black one specifically for one of my cosplays. I have a Team Rocket uniform, and what I do is I clamp this onto my belt, and I clamp an amp on the other side of my belt, and this has the Team Rocket theme song from the Pokemon anime. So whenever I'm at a convention and stuff, I just put that on repeat, blare it at full volume, and it always, like, everyone loves it. I mean, I was about to say it always draws a crowd as if that's a bad thing, but no, really, people love it. So that's why I got that one. This is, like, the only iPod I actually got for a specific purpose, which is funny enough. And now let's go on to the final kind of iPod that I have, and I think the final kind of iPod that they ever made, the iPod Touch. I believe that this was released right after the iPhone, when people were like, you know what, I want an iPhone, but I want everything except for the phone. So Apple just made this. This is the iPod Touch. And yeah, this is a first gen 8GB model, and you know what I like so much about this? Whoever had it before me inscribed their name and phone number at the top. I've blurred it out, but that's just hilarious. My wife keeps joking, hey, you should call that phone number and see if it's still active. I'm not going to do that. Are you kidding? But this is so cool because, like, this was somebody's, like, personal iPod Touch. They put so much on here. Look, there's a poker 5K game. Oh, this is exactly what I was looking forward to showing off the most. Like, what old Apple devices looked like. There's a poker game, there's a Mafia game, there's the old YouTube app, which, trust me, doesn't work. If you open it up, it just says the service is offline. But whoever had this wrote so much stuff. There's so many notes on here. Like, I really do think that somebody was using this as like a work device, like a PDA or something like that. So many notes. If I were to open up contacts, there's so many contacts in here, hundreds. I don't even think that I need to blur it out just because, like, there's hundreds of contacts. I mean, come on. And they do have music on here, as one would assume, with an iPod Touch. There we go. Hundreds of songs, too. Like, somebody poured their whole life into this. It's crazy. I can't tell you what joy this gives me seeing all this on here. They even have videos. They even have movies that they put on here. Movies that they bought through iTunes, put on the iPod, and never wiped. And now they're mine. Completely for free. Well, with the cost of a $10 iPod, but come on. So yeah, first gen iPod Touch. I absolutely love this. I especially love this because it was personal to whoever had it before me. Man, like when I wanted to make this video, that was what I was most looking forward to showing off, that right there. Now, let's go ahead and jump from the first gen iPod Touch to, I think this is a 5th gen iPod Touch. How charged is this? Oh, it's incredibly charged. Okay. So I believe this was my wife's before she handed it down to me. I think this is a 5th gen iPod Touch. What I've done for every single one of these devices is I have hooked them up to my iTunes just so I could rename them. So I can always just check and make sure, yep, this is a 5th gen iPod Touch. And it is a 16 gigabyte model. I'm pretty sure this is wiped completely clean. Oh, no, it's not. I remember now. So for every single one of these that I didn't wipe, I put 2 movies on them just because, obviously, Zootopia, my favorite film of all time, and Shrek, yes, thank Dingpods. So yeah, all these devices that you're going to see pretty much from here on out are able to play both of these. And if I were to tap on Shrek here real quick, I think that it's just going to start right where I left off. And that's how you get a copyright strike. I completely forgot that's where I left it. Anyway, 5th gen iPod Touch completely wiped except for the stuff that I put back on there, and that wraps up my iPod Touches. I would love to get more in the future. In fact, they still make 7th gen iPod Touches for you to buy if you want. But now it's time to move on from iPod Touches to the iPhone. I have a whole lot of iPhones, and a lot of these were hand-me-downs from my wife. Not this one. This is a 1st gen iPhone. Otherwise known as the iPhone 2G, this was the very first iPhone of all time. You can tell because it has this silver backing with the black bottom. Yeah, this is so iconic and oh so messed up. I got this for free from a fan who saw that I started collecting iPods and iPhones and was like, hey, would you like mine? I was like, well, duh, it's a 1st gen iPhone. You know how much these things go for? And I don't even care if it's cracked and messed up and missing pixels. Like, it's a 1st gen iPhone and it still turns on, it still works. Oh, right on cue. That's not even trick editing. It is upgraded to the latest iOS, which I think is iOS 3, so it's not like it's a time capsule or anything, but it's cool. This is super, super cool. This is what the very first iPhone looks like. It's so awesome. I don't think there's any photos on here. In fact, I'm pretty sure that this has been completely wiped clean. Like, whoever got this before me definitely knew what they were doing. Yeah, I've got no music, I got no nothing. I don't even know if this plays videos, honestly. But yeah, 1st gen iPhone, you know, how can you go wrong? This is so cool, so iconic. This definitely revolutionized smartphones and made them become what they are today. Smartphones existed before the iPhone, but the iPhone is what made them mainstream and what made them cool and made them practical for a lot of people. So following up with the iPhone 2G, I've got a 3rd gen iPhone here, otherwise known as an iPhone 3GS. They have the 2G, then the 3G, then the 3GS. I'm not exactly sure what their naming scheme was there, but, you know, then with the 4 on, they made sense for exactly one generation. Anyway, just plug this in. And I gotta say, I love the back on this. There's just something about this backing that I love, aside from it being a fingerprint magnet, as you can see. I mean, look, it's just, I love the curves on it. I love the big, bold, glossy black just screaming in your face, hey, I'm an iPhone, love me. And yeah, I'm pretty sure this is completely wiped too, unless, yeah, no videos. Yeah, these devices are sold that I cannot put Shrek on them, as sad as that is. But you know what, they're still fun to collect, and yeah. And I gotta tell you, I just love the back of this. I mean, look at that. I just love it. There's just something about it I love. Now they all are meant to look nice and sleek and flat, so you can just, you know, set it down on a table and make it be flat. This is the next phone that I'm going to show off anyway. This is the iPhone 4S. I believe this was the last iPhone to use the 8-pin connector. I'm pretty sure starting with the 5, they started using the Lightning connector. The best connector ever made. USB-C who? That's a joke, by the way. Apple, get on this. This was also my wife's phone. I'm pretty sure that she upgraded from the 4S to the 5S and then gave me her 4S when she did. And I gotta tell you, I never used it as a phone. This was a glorified iPod. That's all it ever was to me. But I gotta tell you, I love the display. Like it looks like starting with this gen, they really started getting the display down so that it just sort of morphs from bezel to display back to bezel instead of looking like it's a display synced into the rest of the phone. And oh, I do have Shrek on here. Let's go ahead and see if it starts up exactly where the other one did. Yep, sure did. Yeah, I'm pretty sure every single phone from here on out I have wiped and just put on Shrek and Zootopia. I mean, come on, who can blame me? This is the iPhone 5C. Oh my god, what were they thinking? So when they launched, I think the 5, it might have been the 5S, Apple decided, let's make a cheaper version for people who want an iPhone but don't want to pay for an iPhone. And the result is this monstrosity. But you know what? There's something about it that I really, really like. I can't tell you exactly what it is because, like, look at this yellow. Look at this yellow. I mean, even on the camera, that looks terrible. I mean, it looks worse on the camera, but there's just something about this that I like the cheap plastic feel, but an actual iPhone inside. I know I charged you up before this. Come on. There we go. Okay, there's just something about this that I like. This is my most recent addition to my collection. I don't know what to say about it except it's an iPhone 5C. I wouldn't mind collecting these. This is kind of like collecting the different colors of an iPod for me. You know, this wasn't the only teal one they made for the 3rd gen, and this wasn't the only yellow one they made for the 5C. There's like a baby blue. I think there's a lavender-ish color, and I think that I would really enjoy collecting these. And you know what? The best thing about these is they still work. The App Store still supports, most games still support the iPhone all the way back to the 5, which means you can put stuff on here like Pokemon Go and stuff like that and use it for that. And that won't last forever, obviously. I think they've just said that they're going to be moving up to the 6S. But still, like, that isn't that just hilarious? Like, you could still pop a SIM card in this and use it as your everyday phone. That is just crazy. Moving on from the 5C to the 5S, and man, I absolutely love this one. Like, the back just, this is where it starts to really look like a premium phone to me. Like, we have the silver back and the white bezel on top and bottom. It looks premium. It looks futuristic. I have a hard time explaining it any better than that, and it's not turning on. Awesome. But yeah, this was my wife's daily driver. She had a 5S, and then I think she upgraded to the 7 Plus, which is what I'm going to show off next. And then she had that before I bought her a brand spanking new iPhone 13 for Christmas this last year. And that will eventually be mine too when she gets rid of it. Anyway, I can't show this off too much, but trust me, it's wiped, and there's only Shrek and Zootopia on there. And moving on to the last iPhone to show off is my iPhone 7 Plus. Holy cow, it's dead. I was not expecting that. Hang on. Okay, let me go ahead and talk about it a little bit. This was the first phone to have 2 cameras. It had a zoom camera and a regular camera. This also did not have a physical home button. Wow, the camera's struggling to focus there. This does not have a physical home button. That is just basically a recessed area that you press your thumb against. But trust me, when the phone's on and we get the little vibrations and stuff when you press that, it actually does feel like you're pressing a button. It's really crazy. And then, of course, with the iPhone 8, or actually the iPhone 10, they got rid of even that. Now you have to do gestures for everything, which is really lame. But the reason I like this phone the most, well, aside from it being so freaking big, this is a huge chunky phone. I like this because this is a phone that I can put my SIM card in and use all the time in the real world. Anyway, only a few things left to show off here. I've got 2 iPads. Holy cow, this thing is almost dead. I'll just show it really quick here. Okay, this is an iPad 3. My wife actually still uses this. That's why there's a picture of Ichigo from Bleach there in the background. There's an iOS update. I was not expecting that. Okay, this is an iPad Mini 3. That's what this is. And I like it a lot. Up until recently, I've been using this for like taking notes and stuff like that. This does support Disney Plus and HBO Max and stuff like that. Which is really nice, but it probably won't support them up to the next, in the next year or so. This is a really old iPad. And I remember I actually bought this for my wife, brand new from Best Buy the year it came out. She was so happy. I don't think we were even married at that point. I think we were only dating. But I just remember us getting it, and she used it so much. She still uses it. That's why there's Ichigo in the background. That's why there's a bunch of apps that are hers and not mine. But she loves it a lot, and it's a really great device. But since she uses it so much, and it's technically hers, she was getting tired of me using it, so she said, hey, go get an iPad of your own. So I did. This, my friends, is the final thing to show you guys, and this is an iPad 2. This was the second iPad ever released. Wow, that keyboard was not supposed to pop up there. Okay. This cannot do much. It can play Hill Climb. It can do Messenger, but I cannot load movie streaming apps on it. I can't load Disney Plus. I can't load Netflix. I cannot load HBO Max. I think I can do YouTube. I could barely run decade-old games on it. But you know what I do on this? I use it to take notes. So here we go. When I was making my Switch 5-year anniversary video, we got all these notes here showing that off. That's what I do. And then whenever I'm making a video, I just set the iPad down like that and look at it and get all of my notes read back to me. Yeah. And the great thing about this is even though it cannot do HBO Max, it can still play Shrek. And honestly, what more do you need from an iOS device? So thank you all so much for watching the video. I sincerely doubt anyone made it to the end, but if you did, make sure to leave a comment letting me know what iPods, iPads, or iPhones you own, and what you think I should go after next. So yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed. So I will be back very soon with even more videos. I hope you all tune in for that. Until next time, thanks everyone for watching, and stay tuned for more.